Well, just at this moment, we are going to cross to the home of Mr. McMahon, the outgoing Prime Minister, and we hope to have an interview with him perhaps, but just at the moment we'll cross for atmosphere outside the residence of Mr. McMahon.
Contrast to the festivities at Cabramatta and Mr. Whitlam's home, there is an air of considerable gloom here at Bellevue Hill in Sydney. We've been standing by for some time for Mr. McMahon to come out and concede defeat. We spoke to one of his press corps only a few minutes ago. Mr. McMahon is still waiting to make a decision on when he will appear. Mr. McMahon promised about 8:30 that as soon as a definite trend was available, he would come out and speak to us. We are still waiting for him. The atmosphere here, as I say, is very quiet, in total contrast to Cabramatta. A crowd of about 50 to 100 outside his gates. At the most, a few newsmen still patiently waiting for Mr. McMahon. Now, from the home of Mr. McMahon at Bellevue Hill in Sydney, back to Canberra.
Well, we're just having a look around the atmosphere here in the telly room at the moment, because it's possible we may be able to cross to Sydney for an interview with Mr. McMahon. We're just waiting on information from Sydney as to whether we will be able to do that or not. And the producer will let us know any moment now whether our links with Sydney have been established. Good. We're now going to cross from Canberra, the telly room here in Canberra, to Sydney and the home of Mr. McMahon.
Over here, Sam.
Let Mr. McMahon go first.
Make a statement before we ask you any questions.
Step back, please.
Mr. Whitlam has obviously won, and he's won a handsome victory. There can be no doubt about the trend in New South Wales and Victoria, and they show a decisive majority for him. I congratulate him, and I congratulate his party too. For my own part, I accept the verdict of the people, as I always would do. I think it's the essential feature of a democratic society, and they have shown clearly, beyond any doubt, that they want the Labor Party in government during the course of the next 3 years. I accept that. Mr. Whitlam must also accept the fact that we are an opposition that will stick to our liberal principles and will give him vigorous opposition whenever we feel that he is taking action that we feel is contrary to the interests of the Australian people. Above all, I want to say this to those of the Liberal Party who have stood behind me. I want to say, and not only in the party, but every member of the public who's voted for the Liberal Party, the Liberal and Country Party candidates, I want to express my thanks to them. I also want to express my thanks to the organisation, and above all to my own staff, who've been driven relentlessly over the last few months. They've stuck with me, they've helped me, and they've never wilted at all under the most severe and heavy of pressures. In other words, the election is gone and it is over, and Mr. Whitlam is entitled to be called upon by the Governor-General to form a government as soon as he feels inclined to do so.
What went wrong, sir?
I'm not going to answer about what went wrong. I just, that's something for deep consideration, and I've no wish to answer.
How are you planning to spend tomorrow?
No, well, that's a little
Mr.
different.
McMahon, are you going to answer questions?
No.
That, of course, was the retiring Prime Minister speaking at his home in Bellevue Hill in Sydney.
Well, on the floor right now, the Secretary of the DLP, Senator Jack Kane. Senator, what do you think of the result?
Well, I thought the government wouldn't have done quite so badly as they did. It's certainly a triumph for the Labor Party, and I suppose it's not unexpected by them. I thought the government would be defeated, but not as badly as it is.
Some people are saying that this might spell the beginning of the end for the DLP.
Well, Gary, people have been saying that for a long time. It's a lot of wishful thinking, I think. Matter of fact, the DLP vote is holding pretty firmly. There's a slight drop in Victoria, but I don't get anything alarmed about. New South Wales is about the same. It's about the same in all states. Slight improvement in Tasmania. Slight improvement in South Australia. but there's no basic change in it.
Does the DLP still claim that one of the main reasons for its existence is to reform the ALP to an extent where there can be a reconciliation?
We never claimed that. What the DLP set out to do originally was to win support for policies that we thought to be those essential to Australia's survival as a free and independent nation. And the DLP vote has maintained a fairly solid position over that period. In Senate elections, it's increased sufficiently to give us not only 5 senators, but the really balance of power position in the Senate.
Do you see any future point where you could be reconciled to the ALP, where there could be a meeting?
Well, anything could happen in politics, but I can't see it at the moment, Gary. Our role will be slightly changed. In the past, I'm talking about our role in the Senate now, our role in the Senate in the past was to curb the excesses of the opposition and to prod the government into action. It'll be slightly reversed. We'll now be curbing the government's excesses and prodding the opposition into action.
Now, Labor accused you of drawing a lot of hefty red herrings across the trail in this election, abortion being one. How do you feel about that claim?
Well, no, we didn't draw any red herrings. If you're referring to our little TV commercial that all the row was about, we raised 3 points in it. We said that an ALP government would abolish all censorship except those in relation to cinema advertising. That's Labor policy, was stated to be so by Labor spokesmen. We said that the Labor Party actually encouraged young people to defy the law. And as evidence of that, we quoted none other than Dr. Jim Cairn saying that the ALP, or that he hoped the authority had it. And thirdly, we said that a Labor government would change the Electoral Act, and the result of that would be that you'd never get them out. Mr. Whitlam admitted that. He said he would change it, but not yet.
But you've campaigned very heavily on this aspect
well,
of
yes, oh, my word, we have.
And you've suggested that Labor might bring in a free abortion system.
No, we didn't say Labor would do that. Matter of fact, there's nowhere in anything we said that Labor would do it. We said that Mr. Whitlam favoured it, and he said this himself. And he said he would campaign for it, abortion law reform, and he would support any bill to achieve that. Now, that's what we said. There's nowhere in Labor... Look, let me make this perfectly clear, that where the Labor Party has announced this policy and obtained a mandate on that, as far as I see it, it ought to be permitted to pass that through the Senate. But I'll tell you something, they never said they would introduce any abortion law reform. We'd certainly oppose that in the Senate.
Well, just one question on any sort of future reconciliation with the ALP. Now, if you can't be reconciled with the ALP when it has such a majority of support from the populace, is there any chance of any future reconciliation at all?
Well, that depends what the ALP does. I would see no likelihood. I'd suggest you would ask Mr. Whitlam that question.
Well, thank you, Senator.
Good.
And back to control.
Gary Scully interviewed Senator Cain of the DLP on the floor here in the Central Tally Room in Canberra.